What's up, Rogues Gallery? It's your boy Hugo Strange one more time. So let's address the elephant in the room: Canibus versus Disaster. Now, I've heard through the grapevine that it was bad, but didn't know it was this bad. But okay. Let me start off by preambling some things here. I'm not gonna sit here and like hate on Canibus, okay? Canibus is a good MC. He is. Hell, his the Fantastic Four track he did on DJ Clue, the Professional Part 1, that alone sold me. But not only that, second round KO, all of his stuff, well, you know, all that stuff, good stuff. But let's be honest here, that was in the 90s. So, you know, respect to Canibus for his work as, you know, as a rapper and whatnot. Respect to Canibus, but here's the thing. I know a lot of people want to cut Canibus some slack. It was his first battle, cut him some slack, you know. But here's the thing. It's not a matter of Canibus getting bodied, okay? If Canibus got bodied, he got bodied, you know? It's not a matter of that. It's a matter of Canibus pulling out a notebook. I know a lot of people are gonna sit here and say, well, this rapper choked and that rapper choked and this rapper did this and this, that, and the other thing. But there's a difference between stumbling and choking and cheating. Okay? Follow me here. Now, I'm not going to sit here and excuse Canibus just because the man has an illustrious career. I'm not going to do that. You know? When you step in that ring, you're just like every other MC in there. There's no, oh, he's world famous, oh, he's Canibus, oh, he's this. Doesn't matter. Because in that ring, you're expected to do the same thing that everybody else in that ring does. Now, whether you do it well or, you know, whether you fail at doing it, not fail at doing it, but whether you lose or win, doesn't matter. You do the job. So, here's my standpoint on it. Canibus and Disaster both had the same amount of time to prepare. They both knew exactly what they were getting into. Canibus knows Disaster is a freestyle artist. He knows that. Disaster knows who Canibus is. They both knew exactly what they were getting into when they took this battle. It wasn't like it was sprung up on the last minute. Canibus had time to write, to practice his bars. And when he pulled out that notebook, that basically communicated to me that he could not be bothered to memorize his rhymes. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, but is that not exactly what you're expected to do in a rap battle? Is that not exactly why you're in that particular sport? And don't sit here and tell me, oh, well, you know, it was Canibus' first battle. No, because he knows exactly what he's getting into. He knows what goes into this. He knows the ins and outs of this. This is not news to him. So don't sit here and tell me that I need to extend him a line of credit because it was his first battle. No, I only extend him a line of credit for it being his first battle if he got bodied. And yeah, he did get bodied. You know, if it was a straight 3-round body bag, no problem. You know, it was his first battle, of course he was going to lose against Disaster. It's Disaster. You know, are you crazy? No, but instead, Canibus pulls out his notebook. Before he even does that, he comes up with this speech about how he's not a freestyle artist, how his style is technical and it's always been that way. And I'm watching the, like, what does it matter? What does it matter if you're not a freestyle artist? You know? What does it matter? So, you mean to tell me that you can't even make an attempt to do that? Because the way I see it, and I've said this before, if you feel like you're gonna choke, the best thing you can do is just to cut your round short. Yeah, you're gonna suffer for it, but hey, you at least tried. You know? You put forth the best effort you could. You did not pull out a notebook and say, I'm gonna read my bars because, yeah, I can't memorize all this. You're expected to do that! And for Canibus to pull something like that is kind of telling as to why he hasn't transitioned into the mainstream. And it's also telling as to why his fans... I'm not exactly sure where I'm going with this, but the thing is, okay, he made an excuse for himself, basically. And yet his fans bought into his excuse. That, oh, cut him some slack, it's his first battle. No. No. He knew what he was getting into. Don't buy into that excuse that he's not... I'm not good at freestyling either, but if I forgot my bars, I'm going to freestyle as best as I can. And then I'm going to close out when I feel myself getting whacked. It's what you do. It's what's expected of you. And don't sit here and tell me that we can't expect the same thing, because think about it. If Disaster, if Low Pesci, if Real Deal, if any of those rappers started to choke and pulled out their bars, you guys would flag them instantly and say that is bullshit. And yet you're buying this for Canibus? Double standard. Double standard. So don't sit here and tell me it's Canibus and that we can't say anything about it, that we have to accept his excuse because he's famous. No. Not buying it. Not buying it. Now, I would like to see Canibus redeem himself. I would like to. But, given his display here and the fact that he disrespected Organic, keep in mind, he did disrespect Organic earlier when he said, don't be a dick, man. And it's like, dude, Organic put up bread to see you. Organic put up bread to get you to this battle. To get you, Canibus, here on the flyer. And now, yeah, he did that for himself too, because, you know, Canibus is a big name, but don't get it twisted. You, Canibus, you need this just as much as everybody else, just as much as he does. Why? Because you haven't been relevant for a long time, and I'm not saying that hating on Canibus or anything, because I like Canibus, you know? But let's keep it 100. Canibus hasn't been relevant for a long time. In a battle against someone like Disaster, one of the best in the league, you know, now don't get me wrong, I still don't like Disaster's style. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, Disaster's the best, you know, this, that, and the other thing. No, I still don't like Disaster's battling style at all. I still don't. But I'll call a spade a spade. I'll call it what it is. And Disaster body bagged him. And Canibus openly admitted he got body bagged. But don't sit here and tell me that him pulling out a notebook is just fine, when every single rapper in that league, every single battler out there in that league takes the time to memorize their bars. Takes the time to do that. Is not only disrespectful to the fans, it's disrespectful to the league, it's disrespectful to the battlers, and it's disrespectful to your opponent, who, understand, Disaster took the time to prepare for Canibus. Yes, Disaster is a freestyle artist and he can come off the dome, but still, that doesn't negate the fact that Disaster actually sat down, took time out of his day to prepare some bars and memorize those bars for Canibus. And Canibus just couldn't be bothered when every single battler in that league, in any battle league, takes time to memorize their bars. Blatant disrespect. And it's telling as to why Canibus hasn't launched into mainstream yet. Because of things like this. Because of making an excuse as to why he can't do what he's paid to do. Understand, Canibus is a professional rapper. He gets paid to do this. Okay? He makes money off of this. This dude had albums. He had singles on the radio. This is what he does. And yet, in this particular case, he couldn't be bothered to memorize his rhymes. Now, don't sit here and tell me, oh, well, it was 30 pages. He doesn't have to memorize all 30 pages. He couldn't have memorized a couple of paragraphs, a sentence, and he just tried? Really? Really? Think of it this way. If you were watching a movie, and in the middle of a scene, the actor forgets his lines, and pulls out the script, and starts reading his lines, you would say, well, this is bullshit. And it's the same thing. Because, understand, that actor is paid to memorize those lines. This is what he does professionally. And when you don't do your job professionally, then it's disrespectful. So, no, I'm not going to sit here and say I give Canibus a pass. I don't. I would like to see him redeem himself, you know. And shout out to KOTD for you know, putting Canibus on the flyer. Shout out to them. Shout out for a very successful event. Shout out to them for that. You know, and I'm not blaming KOTD for this. I'm not one of those people who sit up here, oh, I'm glad I didn't get Vendetta. You know, I would have gotten it, you know, if I had the time to watch it, because I was working that day and I really don't have the money to do that. But you know, if there's ever a point in time where I have a clear day and I have the money to do that, yeah, you can bet your ass I'll buy it. But it just didn't work out for me there. But no, I was looking forward to this battle as much as the next person. But I gotta keep it 100. Am I disappointed? Yes. I'm not disappointed in KOTD. You know, they handled their business. They took care of their jobs. They did everything professionally. It was Canibus who disrespected KOTD, the fans, the battlers, and himself and his opponent. So that's just my take on it. And I know a lot of people are going, why are you hating on Canibus? And it's like, you know what? If you think keeping it 100 is hating, then no. Because seriously, if you're a battler and you're not pissed off at that Canibus made an excuse for himself to cheat in a battle, when you take the time, I mean, if that were the case, if Canibus can just do that, then what's stopping the next battler from doing that? And saying, oh, well, Canibus did it. Why are we excusing him? Why? No, I don't play that. I don't play favorites here. Canibus lost. Canibus disrespected the league. And if he doesn't acknowledge that he was wrong in doing that, then, you know, I hope they don't get him back. Because when you have blatant disrespect for the league, the fans, your opponent, the battlers, everybody, it's very unprofessional. And for someone who is a professional rapper, they should know when they've done something completely unprofessional. That's all I gotta say about it. I've already wasted enough time talking about this. But anyway, shout out to KOTD. You guys are always, you know, on your A game. Can't say it enough. KOTD is where it's at so far in like battling and whatnot. They don't take forever to put out their battles. So shout out to KOTD. Shout out to Organic. Shout out to everybody in that event. Shout out to Disaster. Shout out to Canibus as well. You know, get your shit together. Shout out to everybody who watched Vendetta. Shout out to the people there. Just shout out all around, you know. You guys took care of your business. Canibus, step your game up. I hope that one day you can redeem yourself. But until then, man, I'm disappointed in the story. I'm out. Peace.